And thank you, Loretta, for not acknowledging the fact that I'm the first person that you tell me that actually hung up on you. I mean, if you have friends like Loretta Sanchez, and such a special friend, if you have friends like Paul Goldenberg, such a special friend, and if you have the family that I have, then what more could anyone want in their entire lifetime? I'm very disappointed that Betty is not feeling well, but nothing serious other than the beat up by all the colds and things that are going around, and if she could be here, she would be. And I will take those flowers to her, but I agree with my daughter and my sons and all of the family that to the large reason why I'm standing here today is because back in 1960, when John Kennedy was running for the President of the United States, I also met a young lady named Betty Robb as I was entering college at Santa Ana College, and the rest of that particular story is history as well. And had Betty been here, I would acknowledge that we were about just had our 46th wedding anniversary. So I guess that's a bit of a ride. And had Betty been here, she would have laughed when she was listening to the introductions, and this will be relatively short so you can all relax and hopefully even a little bit entertaining. That's some fun. But when I was listening to some of the nice introductions, and a couple of them got down to and his lovely wife. There's a great lady who was married to one of Loretta's colleagues, who was one of Loretta's colleagues, who's now a United States Senator, named Sherrod Brown. And when Sherrod was running for the U.S. Senate, his lovely wife was also a very well-known journalist and a very well-known person, as all of the women in this room are well-known in their own right, no matter what the particular situation happens to be. So she wrote a lovely book I will commend to all of the women in this room to read, and Betty loved it, of course, which was, she wrote a book called And His Lovely Wife, and about her role in the campaign and what happened. So that's something I would commend to all of you. I have to say that when this evening got put together, and I was somewhat reluctant to do it, the idea was that, of course, we think that we should do something, and I think particularly true of Dick O'Neill. And but I thought I would probably end up, being up here and saying the things I'm about to say, which is that I remember the great quote from Mark Twain: the idea of my demise has been greatly exaggerated. This is not a demise. This is not a retirement. This is not a goodbye, because I absolutely have no intention of going anywhere except doing what I always love and what I feel passionate about. I love what I do. Sometimes I refer to it as my day job. I am passionate about being a trial lawyer. I did have a good friend named Herb Half, who one time we discussed whether I was going to be a candidate or not, and I came very close to going into public life. And he indicated after a long weekend we spent together and with all good friends, including Frank Barbero, I decided not to enter political office or in the public life. And the final point was when Herb said, "Now, Wiley, why don't you tell me who was the governor of Illinois when Clarence Darrow was practicing law?" And I thought for a minute, since I was a history major, and I said, "I have no idea." He says, "That's my point, Wiley. There are other things you can do. There's other things you can do with your life and other ways you can apply it, and you can help good people get elected and thank all those people like Loretta and Lou and Jose and other nice people in this room, that it's important that they do that, and it's important to give them the help and the commitment and the resources to make them happy. And if you could ever be in a situation that you recognize that you really want to stay active and involved, and I really intend to, there's these really great commercials going around called "The World's Most Interesting Man." If you watch those DFOC commercials now, I do not put myself in the class of being one of the world's most interesting men. But I thought it was great that you don't get too many awards, because one of the things they said in that commercial was, he is so interesting that he has won the Lifetime Achievement Award twice. And I don't want to follow those footsteps. I would like to, of course, I also told Betty that he rarely argues, but when he does, he is always right. She doesn't buy into that in the slightest. Dick O'Neill, Howard Adler, such two dear friends, and I was so touched by Howard's letter when he sent it to me about the fact that how saddened he was that the two people he would love to have had been here is Dick and he himself, who got me into this 17 years ago. Steve, I don't know that you had to mention that apparently I've been illegally elected since 2003. We wanted to hold an election, we just couldn't get a quorum and find anybody else who was willing to serve. But I want you to know, and I want you to know, Dan, that I will always be there for the foundation. And I always be there for the foundation in part because of Dick O'Neill and the stories we used to swap with each other. And I remember one of the things that brought a big laugh out of Dick O'Neill was, I said, Dick, do you understand that you are the longest serving immediate past president of the history of the Democratic Foundation? He almost made exactly 17 years as the immediate past president. So I guess now I will go on the letterhead, Dan, as the immediate past president. And I hope it will not be as long, I hope for you, it will not be as long as Dick O'Neill served as the immediate past president of this organization. In the final analysis, it's about family and the family I have in front of me. It's about the 10 grandkids. It's about all of my children who I'm so proud, and all of those kids, and all of the family and friends, and my family and friends, my political family and friends that are, many of whom are in this room. I'm still the ultimate kid in the candy store. I'm ultimately the kid who would do everything I do every time I get up for free. I get paid, have a few homes. In reality, though, it is absolutely the most satisfying experience to be with you, to work with you, to represent the people we represent, to have the family I represent. So I'm really not entitled to any honor other than the honor of just being here and do what I do and love all of the people that are in this room. So thank you very much for interrupting your Sundays.